What's up, guys? HOTSHOTFRONTIER back at it again with another video. And in this video, guys, I'm going to show you how to beat Azamina post Rage of the Abyss, of course. Now, this deck is insane, and I mean insane because it's now a tier 0 deck. And when I say tier 0, I mean you can use it with Fiendsmith, with Snake Eyes. That says it all, of course, as you guys know. But definitely check out this guide, and of course, if you already experienced with the deck, let us know down below if anything you see wrong with the combo line, or of course with the hand traps later in the video. And of course, if you guys are new and this did help you out, definitely go ahead and consider subscribing to the channel, and let me know in the comment section, of course, how you guys would either play against this deck, or again, if you are playing it, let me know down below. Let's go ahead and get started, of course, with how to counter Azamina. So starting off with the Azamina cards, a little bit of lore, of course. But let's talk about Silvera. So Silvera is their Omni Negate. So once they have this out, it's an immediate Omni Negate. Gets anything you want to activate against them, of course. All you need to do is tribute this card, and it will negate, and pretty much that's it for that card, right? So it's a great card to have on field. Now, a lot of combo lines you'll see, this will be the 4th summon, so they will have protection against Nib, for example. Moving on, we have the Raykalos. This is their Searcher card. You either add an Azamina card or the Simple Spoils Wanted from your deck to hand, or any other card, but more specifically the Wanted. Now, this is great because also, while it's on field, monsters your opponent controls also lose 500 attack or defense for each Azamina card you control. Same thing with the Azamina Silvera. This card actually, any battle damage your Azamina monsters would, inflict to your opponent is doubled. So it's similar to like the White Forest cards in that regard. And then you have the Azamina Soul. Not going to say that full name, but this card, when it's fusion summoned, you can target one card on the field, send it to grave. Sending is really strong, and it's a pretty good card to have. During the semi-phase, you can target one Azamina or Simple Spoils card in your graveyard, add it to your hand, so it resurrects that, right? But mostly for the Simple Spoils strategy, at least, for the Snake Eyes, you're only using the Silvera and the Raykalos for the fusion monsters. And then we have the Regina. So this one, you can target a illusion monster in your graveyard. You can go ahead and special summon it. When an Azamina or Simple Spoils card or effect is activated, quick effect, you can target up to 2 cards on the field, destroy them. Very interesting. Then you have the quick play spell, Azamina Deptors. So this card, during the main phase, you can go ahead and reveal an Azamina fusion monster in your extra deck. And for every 4 levels, it has round down, send 1 Simple Spoils card from your hand and or field to the graveyard. Then this card is treated as a fusion summon. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target 1 Azamina monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So that's a good effect as well. Then we have Deception, one of the best cards you can use for the Azamina strategy in terms of spells. You can tribute 1 monster from your hand or field, add an Azamina card from your deck to your hand. If a monster is sent to your opponent's graveyard and you control an Azamina monster, except during the damage step, you can make your opponent lose 1500 life points, and if you do, you gain 1500, which is crazy. During the end phase, this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there from the spell trap card zone. This turn, while face up, you can set it. So again, recursion for next turn. And then moving on, though, we have the last few cards for the Azamina strategy that we have access to so far in the TCG. We have the Determination, which you won't see with the Snake Eyes Fiendsmith strategy, but you can reveal an Azamina fusion monster from your extra deck, and for every 4 levels, it has round down, shuffle 1 Simple Spoils card from your graveyard and or banishment into the deck, then you're supposed to summon the revealed monster. So it's really great. And then of course you can go ahead and banish this card from the graveyard, then target 1 Simple Spoils spell trap card in your graveyard, set it, but it cannot be activated this turn. Same thing with the other card too for the last effect. And now this is a really good card, the Hollowed Azamina. You can reveal 1 Azamina fusion monster in your extra deck, and then again for every 4 levels you round down, send a Simple Spoils card from your hand and or field to the graveyard. If face down, reveal it, then special summon that revealed monster. So it's again really good and it's considered a fusion summon. And then the second effect is great because it can recur this card back to your hand and you can activate it again for the first effect. This is not a once per turn effect, but the second effect is once per turn. Now moving on to a Fiendsmith Snake Eyes Azamina end board. That's right, 3 different decks, 3 different variants into one. So this is insane. Starting off with the High King Wave Caesar, of course, you are making with your Fiendsmith combos. You're going with your Engraver plus the Necroquip to make the High King Caesar. But of course, then you have the Azamina Silvera. Like I said, this is your 4th summon. So this is your Omni Negate protection against Nibiru. And then later in the combo, you'll make Caesar, like I said. Snake Eyes, Flamberge Dragon will of course bring back the IP in the Spell Trap Card Zone, and then later on the combo, your opponent's turn, go ahead and summon that IP, and then go into an SP Little Knight for an additional interruption, of course. You'll go ahead and make the Silhouette Rabbit for the Link 2, and set the Azaroon for an additional interruption on your opponent's turn. You already have the field spell you add during the combo line, of course, and then engrave you have your Promethean Princess for even more interruption. So there's just so much going on, and I think that you guys have to really know how this deck works, especially if you're going to be facing it this format. So let's go ahead and get into our combo sequence here. Now this is just one of many different combos, of course, for the deck, but this is, I feel like, is more one of the more main ones, I guess you will see. So starting off, one card combo, by the way, all you need is Deception. You go ahead and activate Deception, adding your Hollowed. That means the Hollowed Azamina. Now you go ahead and activate it, reveal and special summon the Azamina Mu Recalo. So you'll have you'll just have all you have to do is pretty much just reveal the card. You go ahead and just summon the Recalos. Recalos is again your searcher card. You'll add the Wanted and activate the effect by adding the Bellstar. Now you'll go ahead and special summon the Black Witch by sending off a card from your hand to grave. Then you'll go ahead and set the original on field face down. Moving on, you'll go ahead and make Heaven with those two monsters, activate the Hollow Engrave like I did tell you guys before, return the Rare Hollow to the extra deck, and you can add the Hollow back to hand. Reactivate the Hollow, special summon Silvera, which is your Nip Protection. Again, your 4th summon, which is great. Then you'll go ahead and get into a Requiem using the Moon, and you'll tribute it, summoning the Lacrima. So that's the new card from, of course, Rage of the Abyss. This card will dump the Engraver into the grave, so you have access to your Fiendsmith combos. From there, you'll summon the Engraver by returning Moon back to the extra deck, and equip the Requiem to Lacrima. Make Princess with both, overlay for Caesar. Now you have more protection for your combos. Next up, banish the original, add the Ash to hand from your deck, and normal summon it because you haven't used your normal summon at all. Then you'll go ahead and add Popular will of course special summon itself. Now for number 10, here we go. You'll add Divine Temple, activate it, placing Snake Eyes Diabellstar in the Spell Trap Card Zone. Ash's effect, tribute itself, and a Snake Eyes Diabellstar in the Spell Trap Card Zone. For Oak in deck, Oak will bring back the Ash, and then of course Oak will trigger for Flamberge by tripping itself and Popular. And Flamberge will of course add the Diabellstar from the graveyard back into the Spell Tracker Zone again. That is number 10. And then for 11, you'll link summon using IP Masquerena for the using the Ash and the Flamberge. You'll make IP reviving both of the level 1s from grave. When you use Flamberge, it's sent to the grave, of course. And then you'll make a Princess with Ash and IP. From there, once you make Princess, of course, you're locked. But Princess will revive the Flamberge Dragon, placing the IP in the Spell Trap Card Zone. You'll make Hida because, of course, you were locked into fires. So go into Hida, now you're no longer locked. Princess is in grave. You'll use the Princess in Oak, of course. Next up, you're going to go ahead and take that Diabellstar and go put it onto the field. And Oak in the Spell Trap Card Zone, make Rabbit with the Diabellstar in Hida. And then from there, all you have to do is just set the Azaroon from your deck onto field. And then you just have so much follow-up. You just pass your turn, and there you go. You'll probably just get the handshake from your opponent. But I mean, if they want to try playing through this, it's insane what you can do with this new deck. And of course, guys, there are so many different variants for Azamina. It doesn't just limit itself to just Snake Eyes and Fiendsmith. You can play it with White Forest, White Woods, however you want to say it. Chimera, of course. You can even play it with Rescue Ace if you do want to try that route. Now, there are other builds you could be playing this with. There are several different variants that you can try Azamina with, and personally, I think it's worth giving it a try. The deck is relatively not too expensive. I mean, the only thing that are really expensive are the spell cards, of course, the starters like Deception, but you can just make so much with this deck, and I'm trying to remember which variant I saw before that was just insane. But wow, I mean, I can't even imagine. There's like several different decks you can actually play with this, like I said. So we're just gonna go ahead and show you guys, of course, the engine counters, what can counter this deck. And this is gonna be targeting, of course, more Snake Eyes, Fiendsmith, Azamina too, because we're gonna have cards from Snake Eyes and Fiendsmith. And of course, let us know down below too if there's anything that I missed, or I may have, put like, oh, this card it can't hit this because of, So let me know, of course, down below, guys, if I did everything correctly, and again, if I missed any cards. Moving on, we're pretty much going to start with Ash, right? So Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom can hit so many cards in the deck. You have, of course, the Racalia, which is the searcher for the Azamina archetype, of course. It is the fusion monster you pretty much start the combo with. You can definitely hit that so they can't add their card. Fiendsmith Engraver, of course. Even the spell card, they can obviously hit that. You have several different cards. The Azamina Searcher card, like I said, that can also be hit. The card that actually you can activate it and place it. Let me go ahead and just make sure. The Hollowed Azamina, you can go ahead and hit that as well. Wanted, you guys already know you can hit that. Original, you can go ahead and hit that too. Ash, Oak, Popular. It really depends on the situation you're currently in. Which do you deem is the most important? That one that you do want to hit, and will it interrupt their strategy in terms of just ending their turn, or can they still play around it? That's the main goal. You want to kind of just feel it out and see, is ashing this specific spot right, or should I hold on to the ash? But don't hold on to it for too long, because once they get that Omni Gate, then at that point you don't have nib, you're wasting your ash. So really determine which is the best way to ash them. Moving on, we do have, of course, Ghost Aura and Snow Rabbit, and you can hit the Divine Temple, not the first effect, because once you activate it, the effective place acts, activates immediately, but it's when you, the opponent, normal special summons a monster, you can definitely Ghost Ogre at that point. Personally, I think there are better hand traps to play, but you can absolutely, hit other cards like Ash, Flamberge Dragon, and Oak. Again, their second effects, not their first effects, of course. But let me know, of course, how you guys feel. Do you think it's worth, Ghost Ogring then, or at that point, just take it out of your deck and play a different hand trap? Next up, we do have Ghost Spell and Haunted Mansion, and it's really just two specific interactions you do have with the Flamberge Dragon and, of course, the Promethean Princess. Now, they're very important cards to hit, of course, but like I said, with Ogre, there are just so many more different effects that you can be hitting, and of course, hand traps that you can be playing as well with the deck. So definitely let me know what you guys think. And then we do have Infinite Impermanence. Now you can hit, of course, the Oak, you can hit the Ash, you can hit the Dio Bellstar, you can hit the Flamberge Dragon. Very important hits, because their effects, if they go off, you guys will see that end board, and at that point, if you can't get over that, you're not playing too many board breakers, it's up, unfortunately. Moving on though, for hand traps part 2, we do have DD Crow, and then of course the Bestials. So just so you know, the Bestials will only hit the Light and Darkness targets, but DD Crow is great for hitting other stuff like the Promethean Princess, the Popular, of course, Flamberge Dragon, a very good hit, and then you have the Magnum to hit something like the Engraver, the Moon of the Closed Heaven, even, of course, the Dia Bellstar, the Black Witch. So there are just so many, even the Snake Eyes Dia Bellstar too, because they resurrected so many times. So you do have a lot of options that way. And then, of course, you guys know the Bestials provide even additional interruptions as well, like with the Drias Worm, you'll be able to send, and of course, there's the other one to be able to just straight up banish. So there's a lot of different things you can be doing and different targets you can be hitting with this deck. It depends, of course, on the correct situation that you're currently in. But moving on, we do have Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. Now, this is more of an optional one, right? Of course, if you're playing another Azamina strategy, if you have the Recalo, definitely you can go ahead and just Ghost over your own Recalo. Ghost Reaper, sorry, their Recalo by taking yours out of your extra deck. And then the Moon of the Closed Heaven, another great target. Again, if anyone's playing Fiendsmith, go ahead and just take that out, because most of the time they don't have an inherent way of just getting straight into it. And Moon of the Closed Heaven is a great way to bridge that gap. And then finally, there is SP Little Knight. If you want to go ahead and just take away their Masquerena play in terms of they bring it out, and you can go ahead and just SP Little Knight them, take out their SP, because most of the time they don't have, the extra deck is very tight as well, and they don't have something like there's no more Appaloosa to go into. So SP Little Knight is the way to go if you want to go ahead and just really do damage late game with that. Moving on, we do have Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill. So for Moonlit Chill, Infinite Impermanence and Effect Veiler, for the most part, they're all the same in terms of course, you want to hit their Ash, you want to hit their Flamberge Dragon, Dia Bellstar, of course. So there's just a huge similarity that way. It's just that each different effect hits different. So of course, Effect Veiler only during the main phase. With Ghost Mourner, you can target it, they still use it, right? It's negated, but if it leaves the field, they'll take the damage. So maybe game 3, that's actually a better card to use. And then of course, Infinite Impermanence, if it's set, their back row, that entire column will be negated too, which is a lot of, A lot of people actually forget about that deck too, which is crazy, and you feel so bad if you forget about it. But again, they're all useful against the strategy. Now, should you play these cards? So first up, we have Nibiru. Like I said, if they make Silvera for summon, Omni Negate, then that's it. Like, you can use it if you want to negate, get rid of Silvera that turn if you have other hand traps. But personally, if you're trying to blow up their field, it's not going to work. Now, depending on their hand, if they can't get into the Azamina engine early on, because most likely you go Azamina engine, then you go later into your Fiendsmith plays like I showed you, and then finally all of your Snake Eyes plays. Because the whole point of it is to protect your Snake Eyes plays later on, and I think both engines do such a great job at that, for sure. But if you don't see them open up Azamina, it's possible you could try to nib them. But again, I would just be very careful. They might just go ahead and just do their Fiendsmith combos instead if they didn't get into their Azamina engine. So personally, I would say don't play it. But again, you can feel out the situation and either try to side deck your nibs out or, side something else in that's a really good counter against them. Moving on, D-Shifter, insanely good against the deck. I think that is the best hand trap you could play against them. Now, remember, their graveyard is where everything, most of the time, a lot of interactions happen, and it's going to just kill the Lacrima play because there's nothing to send to grave. You're not dumping the Engraver, you're not dumping anything because that thing's going to grave, of course. And then Snake Eyes, Flamber's Dragon, when it goes to grave, of course, to bring back 2 level 1s, that's not happening. And, it's the main core of the Snake Eyes deck, so if you can really hurt the strategy that way, then of course, like, D-Shifter is broken. It's still broken against the deck. And then Summon Limit. Now, Summon Limit is insanely good against any strategy, especially a heavy combo strategy, especially when you're not, kind of keeping your eye for it. So the only thing I will say is that some decks are playing the Nightmare Phoenix, and you have to be very careful because you want to make sure that you count how many summons they're doing before you activate it. If you activate it immediately at the start of the combo before they do anything, they'll go ahead and just try to go into something like that, pop it, and that was a wasted card. So it's very specific on how you use this card, but if you're asking me, is this a good card? Yes, it's a very good card against any heavy combo strategy. And then finally, we do have the, of course, D barrier. And is it good against them, right? Azamina themselves? Yes, because they're all fusions, of course. Now with other, variants, of course, of your other archetypes, like with Snake Eyes and Fiendsmith, if you can kill their Azamina deck, cards first, then they're gonna have to put more heavy plays until, like, let's say, if you combine this with something like Nibiru, it's great because you stop their fusion monsters. They're going to try to go more heavy combo, get into the Snake Eye stuff. If they can get into the High King Wave Caesar early on, definitely there will be nib ready, and you can just go ahead and drop that nib, and you're good to go for the most part. So it's still great against them, and also it's good against the Necro Equip Princess. So if they're going straight into the Caesar as well, like I said. So personally, yes, I would use D barrier. Use it as many times as possible before it gets banned in the near future. But guys, that's all I have for you for today's video. Of course, let me know down below if you guys did like this type of content. What's the next one we should do? I'm considering doing Raziel, but let me know, of course, how you guys like the guide. And of course, if you guys like the video, make sure to give it a huge like. Comment down below your thoughts, like I said, especially if you're new or you're an older person watching, that's been playing Azamina and you're pretty much an expert, of course. Let me know how we did. And of course, guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn notification bell on so you're updated the moment I upload new videos. All right, guys, that's all I have for you for today's video. If you guys, of course, are interested in more videos like this, definitely let me know down below. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day or night, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.